Greetings, traveler. So here we are, Terminus. You have reached the end of your quest, but don't rejoice just yet. The fate you evaded will be seeking a recompense. So rest your shattered nerves and ravaged mind, and I'll see you on the other side. Will I?
Yes, you will be back for season 2.
Oh, great. My wife will be pleased. We've gone through quite a bit of we were counting on that, so that's good news. I look forward to it, traveler.
For my week in horror, I put 2 movies and 2 horror things. So first of all, moving from Canberra, which is like Washington, D.C., to Queensland, which is like California. There's a lot more people of the foil hat variety here. We've got this, Cass sent me this message. We've not been here long. Cass sent me this message, Gold Coast Mums Group, that she's seen on Facebook. I don't think she's a member. And it says, I'll just read it out. Hi, Anon, because I feel a bit crazy asking this. That's a good start. We live in Pacific Pines in a rental home. For the last 6 months, my 2-year-old girl shares a room with myself and my partner, in her own cot, though. Over the last 2 weeks, she's getting progressively upset over a man in the room up on the ceiling, always in the same spot. She said she doesn't like the man. She doesn't want to talk to the man. She cries on and off all night, especially in the last few nights, even if we put her in our bed. And myself and my partner can't figure out what to do. This morning, why am I reading this like it's a kid's book? I read too many kids' books to kids. This morning, she said the man scared her in her cot last night and said we have to get out. Now I'm freaked out. Myself and my partner don't see or feel anything in the room ourselves. She speaks very clearly and is articulate for a 2-year-old. So she's, I mean, I've got a 2-year-old and that's just, come on. She's definitely saying these things. She's definitely saying these things. We're not just interpreting what she's saying. I'm hoping that it's just her imagination somehow. However, has anyone had a similar issue and used someone local to come in and bless or cleanse the house? I'm not sure what to do. Cass sent it to me and I'm like, well, I almost embarked on a career into this a few weeks ago until the button incident. And I was like, is this a chance for, sorry, Kirsty, I was stealing it, Alan Murgatroyd to come in and cleanse your house?
Hey!
Anyway, top comments, not all, because I've got stuff to do. Immediately, people are like, I would sage the room. You'll find that kids can see ghosts more than adults. So it could just be a soul that's trapped in there, and then that gets likes and hearts and stuff. So I think I've got a business here.
Idiot-proofing things.
Now, I've got to message them again because I went through a whole thing again with this paranormal 101 thing where I'm like, guys, you're just not responding to my emails. It's been months. I've sent heaps of emails and you've not got back to me. I sent it through all their social media channels, which is because it's one step away from going on there and being a crank, which I'm never going to do. So they always respond, right? That's the way to get action. And they were like, oh, so sorry, it's done this, and send us this different email address as well. It's like it's a different inbox now. And we'll get management to sort it out, blah, blah, blah. It's episode 10, and I was hoping I'd have it, and I still do not have that piece of paper. So I can't help those people. And I feel like sending them this and saying, hey, these people are suffering, and there is nobody here to help. Give me that certificate.
I can help them, I think. You know the cards you sent me, the tarot cards?
Yeah.
Well, I have them here. And I think if you can just think about those individuals, right, while I shuffle the cards, which I'm doing now, which should be heard on the microphone, I'm shuffling them, right? And then I'm going to deal 3 cards based on their problems. And I am going to deal them and then tell them what to do with their problem, okay? And then you can put it on the group. That's what I think we should be doing.
Okay.
Okay, so card number 1. I'm gonna deal 3 cards. I don't think that's that number at all, but I'm gonna do 3, right? So card number 1 that I'm gonna deal is
Mr. Baker's dozen.
egg, earth, and harvest. Those are the 3 cards that are gonna help these people, right? So I'm gonna. Okay, so egg. Do you think they would be in an upright or a reversed position?
The eggs.
Or based on your knowledge, based on if they had actually come to me and sort of dealt these cards, do you think they would be more upright or reversed?
I'm sorry. Are we talking about the people or the cards or the
Yes,
eggs? Someone said eggs.
The person.
And it's
the person
6 in the
who
morning, so I
put
don't
this
think
problem-
about his eggs now.
The person who put this problem up, you on their behalf, you just say.
What, like, are they lying
either
down or
upright-
stood up?
I don't understand what eggs have got to do with anything.
Yeah, no, this is tarot.
Well, during
The name of the card.
the
I don't feel like either of you are taking this tarot card reading seriously, and that is very
I'm
You
sorry.
lost me at
risky.
egg.
It's very risky. I have now dealt the tarot cards. The tarot cards
you lost Jed and got me an eggs.
are horror related, right? So the first card is the egg card, which is the alien card.
Oh. Well,
So it's alien.
during the apparition exposing itself, that's the wrong term, they'll be lying down because they're in bed. But when they
Okay,
come
so
to you
I'm
for the
gonna say-
tarot cards, surely they're going to be sat in a chair, so they're going to be upright.
No, it's how they deal the card. So they can't do it because they're not physically here. So I need you to just say upright or reversed. Just to pick
Oh,
one.
how you deal the card.
Yeah, how the card is
I
dealt.
thought you meant the... All right. Upright.
Okay, so this is my first piece of advice. Upright. Take care when peering into the unknown. That's good
I
advice.
feel they've already done that.
Okay, so the second card. Would you like it to be upright or reversed?
Let's go reverse this time, for no particular reason.
Reversed. So
I can feel it in my
new
horses.
environments. This is the Earth card, which is Nosferatu. New environments bring new opportunities. Perhaps they should move house. And the third
Wait, what?
card
Hang on.
is
New environments bring new opportunity, so change the environment.
that's what I'm thinking. This because the cards give you a direction.
Because this is a new environment. They've just moved into a rental.
Oh, well, maybe it's a new opportunity to connect with the dead then. So, Harvest, let's have a look. Harvest is the third card. So, the third card, Harvest, would you like that to be upright or reversed?
Upright.
This is a Children of the Corn card, and the upright reading is working together can bring great reward. So basically, from those 3 pieces of advice, what I would say is that be careful looking into the unknown. However, it's a good opportunity for you to be in a new environment and be able to potentially connect to the other side, and that maybe you should work as a team. So their daughter is already interpreting things that are happening in their house, and as a team, as a family, they could work together to see what that ghost wants and see if they can help it to pass over to the other side. That is my tarot reading. I charge £100 for this. Thank you.
That is the advice they would get from a professional.
Thank you. I am a professional.
That worked out really
well,
well. I
I-
thought that was going to be really dumb and useless. That's pretty much it.
No.
That's what they're going to get to. Well, that's what I'm going to tell them.
So teamwork, new opportunities, and acceptance of what's going on. Plus, can I just mention how old is Melody? Is Melody 2 now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sent me a video of Melody speaking, and I don't speak 2-year-old anymore because
Yeah.
she was like, I just heard, and I was like, oh, how adorable, she's trying to talk. And I was like, what did she say? And she said, hi, Stinky Kirsty.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. That's what she said. But I think.
So here's a problem. It's exactly that. It's when they said, we're sure that's what she's saying. Like when people are like, sorry, what did she say? And we're like, oh, I think she said blah, 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 blah. And a lot of the time it turns out, no, that's not what she's saying. She's saying she wants a fruit pouch.
Yeah.
My cat can eat a whole watermelon.
Yeah.
So this is Melody saying, I said, say hi, Auntie Kirsty.
It's very, now you've said it's Stinky Kirsty, it does exactly sound like that.
So the
Stinky
parents
Kirsty.
can generally understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway.
I think this is a really good opportunity for the next series. If anyone wants to send in a problem, I will do you a remote horror tarot reading, and I will give you advice.
And
that's good advice. What I just gave, in it.
We'll be qualified by
advice,
then.
that. Well, you're a ghost hunter, and I'm not only a pastoral educational master, but I also have got tarot cards. Master, yeah, I've got a master's degree.
That's so much like Beastmaster.
I'm a beast master, but the beasts are teenagers.
How many ferrets you got in there?
The beasts are teenagers rather than ferrets.
And I would have just commented a gif of a scared baby.
And then Jed will put in a gif of a... One of my favourites. I do have. Obviously, I am a teacher of teenagers, and a lot of the time they will come to me going, "Can I speak to you in private, please?" And we have to go into a little room, and you never know what it's going to be. To be quite honest, you just have to okay, let's go in a little room. And there's a comedian called John Maloney, who he has just as a line in one of his stand-ups where he's like, "Does everyone hate you, or do you just need to go to sleep?" And that's what I often just repeat back to them. Like everyone hates me. Do they really hate you, or do you just need to go to sleep? I just roll that one out quite a lot.
I love that's like the sort of thing you say to your kids before they absolutely flip out at you. Why don't you go and sit on the toilet? Why don't you have a lie down?
I say quite a lot. I say, what evidence do you have for this? And it's like, I don't have any evidence. And it's like, okay, well then it's probably rubbish then, isn't it? But I'm happy to do these tarot readings because I actually think that was gold what I just did. It was,
yeah.
Thank you. So if anyone has any problems...
10 out of 10 for mysticness.
Mysticness.
Yeah. Mysticality?
Mystic fibrosis.
Mysticosity. Mystic fibrosis. Oh, I'm going to get that now. What's wrong with me, doctor? You have mystic fibrosis. Have you been messing around with tarot cards? Like, no. They were mine, though. I own them. They're mine.
Your doctor says, have you been messing around with tarot cards? Is your doctor on the NHS, Kirsty?
I only go to the witch doctor. He'd be like... I'll say, no, they're my tarot cards because someone bought them for me. He'll say, did he get them off Amazon? Well, yeah. Right, no, it doesn't count. They're not yours. You need to craft your own or buy them from a real witch doctor like me. I sell them for £200. It's like, oh, no.
You show them, he's like, oh, look at these. They're all over the place.
The problem is whenever I go to my witch doctor, he quite often says that I'm cursed. And I go, yes, that's right. Goes, no, cursed. You are SED. And so many misunderstandings have taken place. Hello, I'm cursed. Well, let me be the judge of that. No, I am cursed. That's my name.
Well, this is going to be easy.
All the time.
I don't know what's up with me. Just froze, shakes and throws some bones.
Does the builder thing, and they're like,
yeah.
This is going to cost you.
What have you eaten in the last week? Like pizza, fried chicken, chips, pizza. Yeah, you're dying. You're only a witch doctor. It's like, he throws the bones and they're from my fried chicken.
You're like, oh, sorry, those are my bones.
Where'd you get those bones? Like, you sell them to me because you eat so much fried chicken. You sell them to me every week. You
promise to stop going through my bins.
There's a fat woman and a half Jamaican in your house. Of course you sell me 40 chicken bones every week.
Oh.
I just can't eat any portions unless they come in buckets.
I only eat bucket food. Popcorn and chicken. Oh, popcorn chicken is the only 3 things I eat.
Well, what else have you been getting up
Sorry,
to?
what else have you done this week? We're only half an hour in. You've said one thing. Another epic episode.
Already exercised someone's demons.
Yeah, exactly. We're already doing good. Now, conversely, my other week in horror thing is that I found that I've been accidentally stalking a child. So, when you say it out loud, it's not that funny.
No, it's not.
So, the people who live, the apartment we're in at the moment, there's people who, owners who live here a couple of levels up that we're very friendly with. And their youngest goes to the same daycare as Melody, but they're a little bit older, so they weren't in the same room for a while. But then Melody's recently moved up into the next room, and now she's in the same room as him. I don't know where or why I recognized this kid, and it happened again at we were in a play centre yesterday, and I'm like, "Oh, Finn, look!" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "That's your mate." He's like, "No, it's not." And I think I've just seen her maybe 3 or 4 times at the same play centre. So now all of a sudden I've got a connection. I'm like, "Yeah, that's someone I know. I know this little girl." So we were playing and everything, and then Kath was like, "We've no idea who that is. You must have just seen her a couple of times at the play centre." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so it's the same thing sort of happened. And I saw this kid, and I'm like, "Hey, it's you!" And I keep calling it, the kid upstairs is called Hugo. I've been calling him Teddy. I, for some reason, thought his name was Teddy, because I'm awful with names anyway. So I'm like, "Hi, Teddy. Hey, it's you. I know you." And this kid's looking at me like, "Who the fuck are you?" No idea. Never seen you before in my life. I probably recognize this kid because I've seen him at the daycare several times. He's not the kid from upstairs. And I'm always like, "Hi, I live in your building," and stuff like that. This kid's freaking the fuck out. So that could be what's happening with this couple, is some weirdos like attach themselves to the family. And he's probably like, "I live in a house. What do you mean you live in my building? Are you in the attic?"
Are you on that ceiling all the time?
Yeah.
Get out.
I was on your ceiling. My ceiling's your floor. But I'm always like, "Hey, it's you." And I'm talking to him, and I'm like kneeling down and everything, like he's a good mate, like he's a family friend or my mate's kid or something. But yeah, and then they were in the lift, and he was hiding behind his dad, and I'm like, "Oh, come on, I've seen you heaps of times at daycare." and he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, because they're in the same room now." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, yeah, they are." But he keeps calling him Hugo, and I'm like, "Shit, that's not the right." And then the kid comes out, and I'm like, "I've never seen that kid before in my life. That's your kid?" And I'm walking away from the lift with Kath, and I'm like, "What's their kid though? That Teddy?" And she's like, "Nobody's got a kid called Teddy." And I'm like, "No, their kid Teddy who goes to Melody's daycare." She went, "It's Hugo, and that's him." And I was like, and that was like the Jaws camera effect, or like the end of The Usual Suspects. I was like,
shot.
"No." So I've got to drop Melody off at daycare today. I think I'm just going to ignore that kid and just pretend like I don't know him and I've never met him. I don't know anything about him.
Have you heard of the Meldry point?
No.
So when you're like 56 and a few days, you reach the Meldry point. It is the point at which Victor Meldry, 1 foot in the grave, was retired from his job. So everyone assumes that Victor Meldry, from 1 foot in the grave, was a very, very old man, and he was like in his mid-50s when he was retired from his job. You've mentally hit that point now.
Oh, not now.
This is not new. That sounds like a 1 foot in the grave episode where you're like, "It's Teddy." No, it's not. It's Hugo. It's Teddy. No, it's not. It's Hugo.
I also watched 2 movies. I didn't necessarily watch them this week, but I've got a long list of movies. So I have a problem, the Blumhouse movies that I don't know if it's just now because they're on the Instagram or whatever, Facebook, they come up in the Dead Reckoning Facebook feed because it's all horror related. They seem to just be churning out movies.
Oh yeah, there's fucking loads of them.
So like Night Swim, it definitely goes in the list of worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Very loosely, it was just garbage. It was absolute trash.
Oh yeah, the black phone's good. Insidious is good. Get Out is good.
Yeah, but just recently they've done a run of like shitty movies.
Okay.
But it seems like every time I go on there's a new movie, and I'm like, are you serious? Why don't you just like sit on it for a bit and work out the issues? So I watched Imaginary, and which is the one with the bear. And I don't know if I wrote down how far into the movie it turned into a shit movie, but it was great to start with. There was 2 legitimate jump scares in the first 20 minutes. And then it's super creepy. The sort of entity that possesses the bear is this figure that just sort of like, it'll just be in the background of one of the shots and you'll notice it. And it's really creepy and really well done. But then they do silly things like the bear will turn its head on its own. And I'm like, why does a bear need to turn its head? Like it's possessed. It doesn't. Anyway, little stupid things like that. Then they use there's one where they go into the basement, which is kind of like the epicenter of it all. And you notice this entity stood again just behind the staircase at the back. And the first time you're like, oh, real creepy and spooky. But then they do the exact same scene again about half an hour later. And you're like, no, you've done that. And then when she turns around, it's gone. But it's like, and from there, and then when they go and face the monster, it's not that really creepy, scary thing that it's been building up to all the way through. That's just gone now completely. And when they go into the other realm, like the other dimension, at that point, it's just a Goosebumps story. It's all crazy, like Pee Wee Herman style wacky land that they go to, and the monster is like, it reminded me of Werebears, Jed. It's just like a grizzly bear sized teddy bear with like big long needly sharp teeth that smashes through the walls and chases them. I'm like, that's just, and then it just falls apart and it's just garbage. But up until that point, maybe like, I don't know, an hour into the movie, it was awesome. It was really good. And I was like, oh shit, this could actually be the only decent scary new movie that's come out since Smile. And it was just, and then from there on, it just goes into, oh, you're making this for teenagers to spend money at the theatre. Is that what this is? And it just went the same way. So that was very disappointing.
I think just looking on Blumhouse's Wikipedia here, one of the films they brought out recently is probably one of my top films of the last few years, which is called Soft and Quiet, which is like more of a thriller than a psychological horror.
I see that.
But like even in the trailer, it's like it starts off as like a women's group. You just think it's like a mum's group or whatever, where they're having like a coffee morning. And like you see them all getting out of the cars in the car park, and then all like gathering outside, and then they go and like put the chairs together in the room, and then when they like they all like gather around the cake, and then when they open the box on the cake, the cake's got like a massive SWAT sticker on the front, on the top of it, and then they're all sat around having like it's like a neo-Nazi like a right wing American like fascist women's group, and then it just like it descends into like it's almost like Falling Down, but with a group of like Nazi women just on a rampage over the course. It's all in real time as well. It takes place in the course of about an hour and a half. It's just absolutely harrowing. But if anybody's interested in, it's one of them films where you probably only watch it once or twice. You only need to. But Soft and Quiet, by Blumhouse, is probably one of the most jarring sort of thriller, albeit not traditional horror, but it's definitely one of the ones that it just gets. You think it can't get any worse, and then it just something else happens, and you're just like, oh my god. I turned off the film, and then went back to it after after a while, and I was like, oh my god.
That's been on my to watch list for a long time. I just can't
Oh,
get hold
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not attacking
Crazy.
his back catalogue. There's some like absolutely incredible movies, but just seems recently just like a string. I don't know if it's just movies they're involved in. They're maybe just producing some of them, or. But there was just on their social media. There's always a list. There's always new, and I'm looking at them like that. Just looks like the same garbage as the rest of these, and it seems like they've. I don't know. It seems like they're moving away from the good movies they were doing, and now they're just doing a string of shitty teen movies to make some money.
I guess like as much as so they made Get Out, Black Klansman, and Whiplash, and as much as like those
Black
films
as
were
well was awesome.
Yeah, I liked that one. But like as much
Insidious.
as they're like critically acclaimed films, they probably didn't make very much money. Certainly not at the box office. Like if you think how much money Paranormal Activity, Insidious, Sinister, and the Purge films make at the box office, that's a lot of money,
But
which
they're good
probably
movies.
enables them.
Except for the Purge ones.
Oh
Maybe.
no, but they're like they make a lot of money, which means they can take risks on stuff like Black Klansman and Whiplash, and Whiplash is just about a nuts drum teacher, you know what I mean? And no one's going to give money to make that.
Yeah.
Even though it's critically acclaimed, it's like not going to attract a lot of money. And the same with Get Out. Like, it seems like they've been able to by making these like cheap-ish kind of shitty horror films that they're also funding decent stuff. So it's like you know, a lot of black creators as well.
I thought that Imaginary was rushed out of production because they want people to get confused with the upcoming John Krasinski's If, which is also about imaginary films.
Yeah.
Imaginary Friends, sorry, but is completely unrelated. So it's like one of them like Mockbuster where people get confused and they'll just like put it on streaming just to get like the click, get the click on the film, but not finish watching it. Like when it comes out onto streaming, that's going to happen so many times. People like films about imaginary friends.
They made Five Nights at Freddy's as well, which I thought was garbage. And then I commented in under Dead Reckoning's profile.
I saw that.
Like on it was, and they were like, "Oh, they're gonna make Five Nights at Freddy's 2," and I was like, "Willy's Wonderland 2 or nothing." And I got all these angry comments going, "There wouldn't even be a Willy's Wonderland without Five Nights at Freddy's." It's like, chill out, you nerds. Like,
I know, and that's always like worst movie I've ever seen. Everything I was like, "Welcome to the internet."
Willy's Wonderland was fantastic.
It was really good.
One of them comments was from Matthew Lillard himself because he's got no work.
Like, stop slagging my film.
He's just on Instagram, just feeding his hate comments. I can't come back from Scream. I'm dead. They killed me off and they won't let me come back.
Do you know what? The guy who founded Bloomhouse, he went to Vassar. It's a girls' college. He's a girls' college.
Put that on the social, see what it gets. See what traction it gets.
I'm sick of your Vassar bashing, Leon lady. He's one of the biggest ever male contributors to Vassar, like in terms of giving them like money for stuff. I didn't even know Vassar admitted men, but apparently they do.
Well, it depends how much money they've got, I guess.
No, they had to, I think it was like a law change where it was like, you can't be an all-girls college now because we can't have all men's colleges. So we also can't have all girls colleges. But no one wanted, not very many men wanted to go to the Seven Sisters colleges. But there were a few who were like, yeah, I'll go, whatever. What'd you say? 40 women to every male student? Yeah, go on, I'll go there. And then suddenly it's like, so he's the biggest male contributor to Vassar College. As an alumnus.
Wow.
Yeah. Well done, sir.
Yeah. What's that film? God, there's a film where a guy gets like a scholarship, doesn't he? It's a film where the whole premise of the film is a guy gets turned down from university, so he literally does blackface for the whole movie. I think it's called like Who's the Man or something. I can't remember. I mean, like the whole premise of the film is just he paints his face black and puts on a really bad wig. Oh god, it's called Soul Man.
Oh no!
Bernie Mac.
Is it Johnny Knoxville?
Oh shit!
No, it's D. Thomas Howell.
Oh my god! I've forgotten about this. I've got to show Lewis this. He will love it. He loves this stuff. He loves it.
Oh
D.
dear.
Thomas Howell stars as a white male law student who pretends to be black, just to qualify for scholarship.
I'm gonna send this to Lewis right now. I love it.
Literally any screenshot from this movie is just like, it's just a walking like conniption for the majority of society.
It's just like, that's terrible.
I'm gonna post in our chat group. I'm just gonna post like one, literally just I'm just gonna post. I'm not gonna try and dwell on this for very much longer because I don't want to go into detail of it. But I'm just gonna post what this is, just one screenshot of the film.
Seamless, eh?
Why do we have such a strong racial discourse on this podcast? Every single episode.
There will be no season 2.
Oh, we'll have to have like a wisecracking Black American comedy comedian.
Suspended for retooling.
Due to complaints, we have added Tyrone. I was like, hey, what's up, guys? And he'll only talk about blaxploitation horror.
Oh, Kirsty, you're so gone.
He'll only talk about blaxploitation horror. That's all he wants to talk about. It's just I went back and listened to, because we were waiting to do this episode, I went back and listened to every single other episode. I was like, we mentioned race a lot.
We?
I didn't bring up Soul Man. Get it.
Oh, God. All right, I'm going to save us and get us back on track. I also watched the new French movie Infested.
Oh.
About the spiders.
Oh, no.
Which is on Shudder. So the premise is a guy... it's the worst setup. It's not... Like, arachnophobia is very smart compared to this movie. So it opens on... they're in some sort of Middle Eastern desert, and these guys jump out of a truck and they go looking for something under rocks and whatever, and they find this spider nest, and it all ends badly, but they're trying to catch the spiders, presumably to sell them these deadly spiders like as pets or whatever. First of all, there are no spiders of that kind anywhere there. Spiders are like jungle rainforest kind of things. None of those places have... The only poisonous spiders in that entire area are actually introduced redbacks from Australia. That's not the sort of place you would find poisonous spiders. Venomous spiders, you don't need them. Anyway, so that's where it starts, and that's where this horrible, crazy spider comes from. Then it's this guy in this pawn shop trying to buy some jewelry for his girlfriend, but it turns out it's not his girlfriend. It's quite sweet anyway. The guy's got the spider in a box in a back room, and he ends up buying it. But then they're like, losing men to go and get these things to sell them is bizarre, because it's just sat in a tub in someone's, like, the back of their shop, and they're not actively trying to sell it. And it's not even expensive. He sells it for nothing. And I'm like, all right, well, that's all they've done. Anyway, there's a lot of cool things in it that I remember from France that they use. Do you remember they had the wind up, like, timer lights? So it's not a switch. You turn a dial, like an egg timer, and it turns the lights on just enough time for you to get to where you're going, and then it automatically turns them off.
Oh, yeah.
So they've got those everywhere, and they obviously use those to great effect because they're trying to do like the solifuge sort of, they don't like the sun sort of thing because of where they come from. So they have the French wind-up timers that works really well in it. Again, I'm like, I can understand this. I can speak French. And I get, within about 40 minutes, I get pourquoi and le backing. Other than that, can't understand a single word. And I'm like, oh, just keep watching. It's like immersion. No, it's not. It's not. You don't understand any of it.
Why is no one inviting him to the discotheque?
Yeah, that's it. Where is the library?
Why has no one checked if there's a shower in the room?
Yes. Is there a shower in the room?
Is it possible to buy food at the destination?
Nobody's asked them their hobbies.
Yeah.
And it's got all the classic, like, it's a bit like Wreck, where they're trapped in an apartment building and the police just brutalize everyone because it's a French movie and that's just how they are in all French movies. So it's kind of like Wreck. They're trapped in the apartment building. The authorities are keeping them locked in there to contain the problem. So it is very Wreck. They have an old sort of Chinese immigrant cleaning lady who basically plays a John Goodman role in trying to get rid of the spiders. And then obviously the spiders make noise because spiders being silent doesn't work. They've got to hear the noises so they know there's a spider behind them or whatever. And the effects are really good. The CGI and sometimes it's not as good, but it's pretty good. And there's like a massive, big, crazy thing at the end where all the spiders run out and they're all like shooting a machine. It's kind of like Aliens in a way. But my favorite bit of it is they're trying to explain how this, and they always, it's the same with arachnophobia. They use these spiders, it's a huntsman or a crab spider. They call them Avondale spiders. So they get them from New Zealand. And that's what they use for the actual spiders in the movie. The rest of them are just CGI. But some of them grow up to like 5 feet across. And they Google it and they go, well, it says here some female spiders when guardian eggs can triple their size. So, yep. And I'm like, wait, what? That's your explanation? And that was they just Google it and go, yep, that's why they're enormous. Not like they get into something or chemicals or something sprayed on them or anything like that and they mutate. It's just like, no, that's what happens. That's real. But overall, really good movie. I recommend it for a watch. But obviously it's about giant spiders infesting an apartment, so it's a bit silly, but it's worth a watch.
Paul's lived in Australia for so long, he sees like a spider on the TV and like a horror film, and he's like, that's nothing. Pathetic.
I'm trying to catch it in a cup. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to see that? You want to see the one in our shed, mate?
That's funny. A very common occurrence here, which is always very exciting for everyone involved, is occasionally there'll be a huntsman in your house on the wall or the ceiling, and it is like the size of your hand or bigger. They're massive spiders. They can have a 30-centimeter leg span. They're enormous things, but they're quite friendly and happy. Kind of like, you see like the I can't remember what cartoon it is, but they've got a spider with he's got like 8 cowboy boots and a hat on. And he's like a friendly spider. I always think of them like that. They're kind of friendly spiders.
They're like the Labradors of the spider world.
Yeah. I mean, they'll still bite if you fuck with them, but so will a Labrador.
Yeah, so will a Labrador. So will I.
Well, yeah, that was fun. That was a good movie. And that concludes my week in horror.
Okay, so my week in horror, watched a film called Last Night at Terror Lanes. Which was I fancied watching something which looked a bit stupid and funny. So it's set in a bowling alley, and it's the last night at the bowling alley because it's shutting down because no one wants to bowl anymore. And there's these 4 teenagers, and they really want to go because it's kitsch and it's Instagrammable. And one of them reacts really strongly when they say they're going to the bowling alley, and it turns out her dad works there, and she's embarrassed. She's a really good bowler, and like her and her dad used to bowl as a team and stuff there. So they go to the bowling alley, and there's also a death cult, like a suicide cult, who are trying to kill a load of people as some sort of offering to the gods, and they all have these pale blue like tracksuits on and masks, and basically they've chosen the bowling alley to go in and like kill a load of people. And it is just dumb. It's just like, it's dumb, and it's very, very violent. And it's a good laugh though. Like it is fun. There's like amidst all the really, really graphic violence, there's some quite fun characters, and there's some quite fun, like just when it's getting horrible and you're like, oh, that's actually a really horrible, they cut to like something funny. And I did quite enjoy it. I watched like half of it, and then like I think Lewis came in or something, or something happened, or oh no, I know the the internet cut out, and then I just kind of forgot about it and went back to it. And I was like, oh, I can't even be bothered watching the rest of this. But then when I watched it, the second half, I actually quite liked the second half. I was like, oh, it's actually quite good. So I do recommend it. It's funny. It's silly. It's got some people in it who are gonna be quite famous, I think, in future. So it's got your general.
Despite this movie,
Well, yeah, it's got Last Night at Terrace Lanes. What's the name of the girl? So the girl, oh yeah, Francesca Capaldi. So she's really good. She's really good in it. And she is no relation, by the way, to the other Capaldis, Peter and Lewis. But she's like
she's
two
actually, dog-based movies. Dog with a Blog and Max 2, White House Hero.
Yeah, she's really good in it.
Dog with a Blog.
She's quite good in it. And there's
a lot of dogs.
There's not even a Wikipedia page for Last Night at Terrace Lanes, by the way. But it's like that sounds.
She's done heaps. Sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt. She's done so the ratio of dog movies. The Dog Who Saved Summer, Home and Alone for Christmas. It's called 3-Day Test, but it looks like a Home Alone ripoff, and it's also got a big dog in it. You know, a lot of dog movies.
Maybe her agent also owns a kennel.
I think her agent might be a dog.
Yeah.
She's just sort of obviously she's trying to do something a bit different and not do kids movies anymore. But yeah, it's quite good.
It looks like a kids movie.
It kind of looks like, well, it does in the look of it. It does like it, but the other guy, Ken Arnold, who plays her dad, has been in like everything. He's not a big, but there's not any massive big stars in it or anything, but they kind of pull it off. And it is quite funny, and when you just feel like watching a horror film, but you don't want to be massively disturbed and not sleep for a week, just watch Last Night at Terrace Lanes, because it's just stupid, but it's also it is very violent. Like, it's very violent.
The question is, a horror film set in a bowling alley. Does anyone get their hands stuck in that thing where the balls come out?
Of course they do,
yeah.
That's got to be a shoe-in for something happening in a bowling alley. That's like my worst nightmare.
Not just their hand.
Oh.
Many things get caught. It's everything that you think, all right, we've got a bowling alley, and how many different ways could you die in a bowling alley? They all happen. Nothing's ruined there for you. Just don't worry about it. But it is.
You know, that thing that comes down and lays all the pins. Does that come down on someone and pull out all their organs or something?
Pretty much,
or pull out their bones. That's what I would do.
Not even spoilers. Like, if I tell you it's a kind of cheaply made, kind of dodgy horror film set in a bowling alley where a lot of people die, everything you can imagine happening happens.
I love that the tagline is "Heads will roll," and as soon as I saw that, I thought they were scratching their heads for so long, thinking it's a bowling alley. You've got to have balls, no. And then they came up with "Heads will roll." It's got to be something to do with rolling or balls or pins or something.
I think they came up with it I think somebody pitched it. Has it got a story by credit by somebody? So I feel like someone submitted it as a spec script. A woman. It's written by a woman. And I think
it's going to strike terror into you.
Oh, they should have used that. That's way better. Oh.
Strike terror. Nice. Jed, you're better than all these people. Let's make a film ourselves.
Except it's mini golf.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Paul.
Oh.
If anybody needs any more taglines, I think I've got a spare.
Do you run that site, Tagline Generator, Jed? But you don't know code, so it's just you trying to respond really quickly.
It's just why is it so slow?
I'm just here to provide the bowling puns.
It doesn't matter what you type in; you just get bowling puns.
Yeah, he's got nothing for crazy golf or mini golf. He's out. He's only got bowling stuff.
It's a bit hit or miss, isn't it? That was unintentional.
That was the film I watched anyway. And also, I have to do. I was listening, as I say, I've been listening back to all the podcasts that we've done. And in episode 3 was where I first mentioned Power Wash Simulator. And I said that I felt like there was some sort of conspiracy or larger issue within the game. Well, let me tell you about when I completed Power Wash Simulator, right? So,
Kirsty, that was months ago.
No. I've been playing on this game because I was like, I'm sure there's
working on the platinum trophy.
I'm sure there's something going on in this game. So I got to a bit where I had to clean a giant sort of a giant statue of like an ancient Aztec god, and I was cleaning that. And just as I finished cleaning it, there was like a blue gem on its head, and this big blue ray of light comes out of its head and causes a volcano to erupt, right? Then you clean a boat, which has been caught up in a tidal wave caused by the volcano eruption. Then it sends you to the desert and it's like, clean my RV. And that is the very first thing you have to do, clean someone's RV. And I was like, oh, I must have finished it. And it's just cycled round. So I get to the desert. I go towards the RV. As I approach the RV, it changes into a flying saucer. And I have to wash the flying saucer. And the people on the flying saucer explain that they are scientists from the future, and they have worked out that the volcano that erupts is part of the Pacific Ring, and when that erupted, it ended civilization as we know it. So they're like, please wash our saucer so we can go back to the future, I guess, and tell them like how we go. Then we have to go back in time, and then so I cleaned the flying saucer, and then I went to the very final one, and the very final one is this Aztec style pyramid, which is fucking massive, and it's got loads of stuff inside it. It's all like it's got these big layers all the way inside. It takes ages to do. There's no ladder, there's no step ladder, there's nothing. You just have to do it by yourself. And I was like, oh, what is this? I realize as I am cleaning the middle of the Aztec pyramid that they have built a statue to me, the power washer.
Oh.
So I'm washing sand off my own statue. And I'm like, what's going on? I don't like it. And so it turns out the people in the spaceship went back to Aztec times, convinced them to move their pyramid so that they didn't put it on the same path as the volcano, therefore making it erupt. And when they said, why are you doing this? They said, oh, this power washing person helped us out. And so they erected a statue to me. So I washed my own statue and then finished, therefore, the game. I completed Power Wash Simulator. And as I thought, it was all a big like alien conspiracy.
Why is it?
I don't know why. I just know.
Why is it not just about the power washing?
No, it's got because all the way through it, there's always like little clues. And now I'm going back, so I've finished it. So now I'm going back and like just doing it for fun. So there's a fun level, which is clearly like you're a nerd. Go outside and see the sunlight because you're kind of washing something. And then it just goes, yeah, that's complete. And you go, no, it wasn't. There was still some stuff to clean on there. It's like, no, you washed it. It's done. It's like, no, but I didn't clean. It's kind of like a really easy level. So but you're watching like little. It's like, oh yeah, there's little cat paw prints in the very early levels, and all the cats from this town went towards the harbour because of the tidal wave, which pushed all the fish to like it all ties in. And you're like, oh god, it's all tied together. So yeah, so when I was talking about Power Wash Simulator, I was like, something's going on here. This is not just power washing. I was correct, and you
can imagine like a Damon Affleck team of people putting this together, and one of them's crazy into this. Oh, we'll have all this, and then this ties to this and this story, and then in the end, they're like, no. We're just going to do a Power Wash Simulator first, just to get money to get out, and then we can do your crazy long story. And then after they release this, one of them was like, for fuck's sake, Chris.
Well, there's kind of two parallel stories.
God damn it. I told you.
There's the one story which is about like the pyramids and all the aliens and stuff. But there's another one which is just that, and they all tie up, which is that the people who run Muckingham, which is the town that you're cleaning up, they are all
Jesus
corrupt.
Christ.
They're all really corrupt, right? And the mayor basically allowed people to drill inside the volcano, which also made it like erupt. So there's these two little stories that like.
What are they drilling for?
He allowed someone to drill for oil in the volcano. Don't ask me about the geological. There's no oil in volcanoes. I don't know. Maybe he's just dumb and he thought there was oil in there.
That's what the volcanoes want you to know.
I work from home every single day, Curse. This is important to me.
But yeah, that was another thing that I've done. I've completed Power Wash Simulator, and I'm very happy to relate that not only was I right, but also they're going to make a sequel. There's going to be a Power Wash Simulator 2, and I don't know what the fuck they're going to do in that
This
one.
couldn't have less to do with power washing.
Well, it's one I was like, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, you mentioned that for in a horror podcast?" Like, because there's aliens and shit, and there's a big conspiracy, and everyone's dying. There's blood everywhere.
This is like vindication.
Vindication.
You come with like a hose attachment to your controller. Like, maybe I know.
I've just been cleaning the bungalow, which is like the third thing you clean, and there's like these little cat paw prints, and I'm like, I know now. I know why they are there. I've seen it all. I feel like Bjork in Dancer in the Dark. I've seen it all.
Oh.
So
I think Lars von Trier or Bjork don't know anything about power. Yeah. They're completely oblivious.
oh, if they make the Power Wash Simulator film, Bjork should play the Power Washer. 100%. 100%. She's just she's just trying to make money for her son, who's blind or something, and then like she's a power washer, and then she ends up like saving the universe.
He's blind or something.
Yeah, you know, one of them. He's blind or
What does
something.
he need money for?
Glasses.
It's a waste of money. He's blind.
No, like drinking glasses. Drinking glasses. He's an alcoholic because he's blind. Sorry, I didn't make that clear in my pitch.
Starts off with like a tragic origin story. She's like power washing the flags outside. She goes, Mummy, come quickly. She just like turns too quickly with the power washer and just goes in his eyes.
Blinds him, yeah.
10,000 PSI straight to the face.
Flash forward 20 years later, and he's just sitting. She comes home with like a box, and he's like, "What do you have there?" She's like, "It's a tulip glass. It's good for IPAs." You broke all your other ones.
The glasses. Oh, I feel like we need to get this to Bloomhouse Studio straight away.
This is already written. It's already written. She's already cast. I'm going to speak
You
to
can
her.
put Kurt Russell's dopey son in it if you want. But
Yeah,
we're
sure.
making this movie.
He can be the grown-up son. He can be the grown-up son.
My glasses, my glasses.
My drinking glasses. Let me be clear about that.
Oh, I love the there's a meme that I sent recently that was fantastic, and it's of my girl when he's in the coffin, and she's like, his glasses, he can't see without his glasses, and then it's a Mythbusters logo, and it says he can't see because he's dead.
Yeah, so one of the films I've been watching this week is Immaculate, which is it's one of the it's one of the sort of typical sort of spooky nuns in a convent type situation where a young American nun goes to stay in an Italian convent, but suddenly falls pregnant with obviously a completely unexpected baby. And but the thing is, though, you see some of the plots coming off a mile away. Like the doctor, one of the priests, like introduces himself, and it's like, I wasn't always a priest, you know. I have a background in biology, science, and then she suddenly becomes randomly pregnant, and it's just like, oh yeah, well, the biologist priest who just happens to live there. Has nothing to do with that whatsoever.
It was I found it to be like a cure for wellness. Very much like a cure for wellness.
Yeah, it was a lot like that. But it's a nursing home for elderly priests. Well, I was watching it, and I was watching it with my girlfriend. We were watching it together, and like there's a bit where like the nurse, she obviously becomes pregnant, and they do like an ultrasound, and my partner said, "Why would they have an ultrasound machine in a nunnery convent?" And I was like, "Well, it's for sick nuns. What if they needed to do like scans on them?" She's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." It's like you don't just do the one machine. It's not just for like looking at babies. Like it has more than one purpose. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. You just have one of them knocking around in the cupboard." But it's got a paper thin plot. It's kind of just like spooky nuns, but just the whole thing where he goes, "I have like a background in like genetic engineering and biological science," and then she randomly becomes pregnant one day, and no one's like, "Hold on a minute, that priest is a bit suspect."
Yeah,
I don't want to give too much.
I didn't like it. Was okay for a watch, but I didn't particularly rate it.
It had like the typical like edgy nun. She's like, "You don't want to come here. They're all full of shit."
Oh yeah.
You know, like literally half an hour into the film, she's getting dragged to a shed and having her tongue go out. Like, yeah, that's what you get from mouthing off. What sort of nun are you supposed to be like?
That's what you get for mouthing off. Oh, the Catholic Church, everyone.
It's a convent, not some sort of like back alley boudoir. Some Italian speakeasy with cigarette holders and whiskey. This is the house of Jesus, or the house of sin. But yeah, it's also one of the few films I've seen where a woman bricks a baby to death.
I don't know how to do this without spoiling it, but considering the origin of the baby, you're like, aren't you just a little bit curious? No, get a rock. Had enough of this shit. Wasn't like ended up there because like the other girl you just spoke about got dragged off to the shed because like her life went bad or anything. She genuinely really wanted to be a nun and was very religious. And then at the end of it, she's just like, fuck this.
She's like, you don't even see it. She's like deformed mutant Jesus baby. That's it. Just big rock. Like, he might not be all that bad. He might just be a bit weird.
Be a hell of a carpenter.
I know, yeah. Have you turned your milk into wine again? Oh.
The baby keeps turning its milk into wine. She's always in the hospital. I don't know how it keeps happening. That could have been the sequel where they take the baby away from her.
It's nowhere near as hilarious as we're making out to be.
It's not a comedy.
It's a harrowing comedy. It's the blackest comedy.
Yeah, pregnant nuns and mutant baby Jesus bricked to death.
Yeah.
The first time they killed him with the crucifixion. The second time, brick to the face.
So much easier to kill as a baby, and they're like, I know, right? Last time was so complicated. We had to have a trial. Brick to the face.
It's the second time the Romans have killed Jesus. This time with a brick.
I didn't even think of that.
Do you think it's one of those like, you know, if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you? And you think it's just like the descendants of Pontius Pilate going, if you could go back in time and kill baby Jesus, would you just go and do it with a brick and save all this? Because the Pontius Pilate name has been dragged through the mud. You can't. Every time we go to like get a Starbucks and it's like it's Pontius Pilate, everyone's like, whoa. We have to make him a fake name.
Ricky Gervais said that when he asked Carl Pilkington if you could go and kill Hitler as a baby, would you? And he goes, I would kill anyone if I was a baby. I'd be too small. It's like, you're not the baby. But yeah. But yeah, the other film I watched was Abigail, which is about it's kind of like a sort of like a group of kidnappers who decided to kill to kidnap a little girl, and lo and behold, the little girl turns out to be a vampire. But obviously, they're trapped in the house with the little vampire girl, who also happens to be a ballerina as well. So there's a lot of like creepy sort of ballerina-esque dancing.
Well, as I've said, it's based on it's taken directly from Livid, a French movie where this woman gets a job as a carer for elderly people, and one of them is shut in this mansion, and she turns out to be a vampire, and her daughter is a ballerina and a vampire who still is in the house, and they go to burgle the house, a group of friends, and get trapped in. And it's basically exactly the same story, but it's French. It's also not that good.
It's nice that they're a group of friends doing something together, though.
Yeah. It's quite wholesome in that regard.
You don't get that a lot nowadays.
Thing is, it's something that crossed my mind when I was watching it at first, because unfortunately it's the last film that Angus Cloud was in. He was one of the actors from HBO's Euphoria, and he sadly died only at the age of 25 recently of an overdose. But this is the last film that he's in, and there's legitimately a bit where she dances with his like headless corpse on a stage, and you're just like, he died before that film had its premiere, and like everyone at the premiere he's like only been dead for like a couple of months, and like people literally had to watch like a young girl just dance around with his headless corpse, and I was like, that must have been, you could have probably cut the tension at the cinema with a knife. Like, just the film's dedicated to him. That's how recent it was, and you just like watching it like.
That's a hard call, though, isn't it? It's like, do we cut him from the film, and therefore like he's not in the film, or do we let his headless corpse be danced with? I don't know what call to make there on that one. I think that's a very tricky one. I'm guessing they spoke to the family and were like,
yeah, there would have been a call to the family.
Listen, let us show you the film and you decide whether you want us to keep this in. Because it's kind of even worse if you just go, yeah, he didn't have a final film. That was it.
Like, Giancarlo Esposito is in the film as well, but he's in it for all of like 2 minutes. So he's just like he's on the poster and like he's in the trailer, but he's literally not in the film whatsoever. He's like he has less screen time than like just like someone opening a door and going, "You're right,"
which you see in a lot of movies. You all right? Yeah. Anyway,
do you think that's on his rate card when people approach him and they go, "Can you be in this?" And he's like, "How much have you got?" He's like, "We've got like 20,000. Like, for that, I will open a door and say, 'Are you all right?' And you can put me on the poster." And like, "Oh, go on, we'll take it." Anything else is going to cost you a lot more.
But yeah, little vampire girl. It's without giving away too many spoilers. It's certainly one to. Dan Stevens is in it as well. Like, with a really sort of creepy, weird American accent. He's in so many random films. Like, Dan Stevens shows up in everything. Like, just any type of random film. Like, he's in comedies, kids' films, like, just in costume dramas. Obviously, he's in Downton Abbey quite a significant amount.
His credit in this movie, like, the name of the character is acteur.
It's French, you know. That was probably like, maybe it was in the contract. He's like, "I'm not playing an actor. What about an actor? That I'll play. I will play an actor."
Oh, and one of their names is Rickles. Rickles.
Oh, that because there's a motif in it where, because they're kidnappers doing a job, they're not supposed to know each other's names. So the head honcho gives them the names of the Rat Pack to like refer to each other, so they don't know each other's names.
I get
That's why
it.
they were
Oh,
like,
yeah, look.
silly
Yeah.
Was
Well, that
Don
makes sense.
Rickles in the Rat Pack?
I think he was like the
Yeah.
honorary one because he was at the roast, wasn't he? Just like ripping the shit out of him. Like, I'm going to be Mr. Potato Head one day and you'll all be dead. Funny because he was, and they are. Yeah, those two films have generally been my week in horror. But yeah, obviously, there's quite a larger part of the week that's going to be coming up soon with me and Kirsty, both sort of explaining it in detail.
We went on a trip.
Yeah.
We went on
We
a
did.
field trip. It was so exciting. I got to leave the podcast studio and go out in the sunshine to a seaside resort.
Excuse me, podcast studio, Kirsty?
Yeah, that's where I'm sat right
Do you
now.
mean the ironing board and the broom and the bag of shit? Does that comprise the podcast studio?
There's no broom. Where did the broom come from?
Didn't you say you had a broomstick on the mic?
No, the mic
So that was
the mic stand has got a really long stick on it. That's why I had to that's why I had to load it down with a bag.
You can understand why I thought you'd said broomstick.
I don't have a broomstick. Well, I do have a broomstick, but it's not part of the podcast
Yet.
yet. I didn't think of that. I could just use the broomstick. Yeah, me and Jed went to Rilla Thriller, which is a all-day horror film festival in Rill. And the guys from Rilla Thriller were actually at the Dead All Day festival where we gave out an award. And they came to that and we had a little bit of a chat. And I was like, oh yeah, we're coming to Rilla Thriller. And we went to that. Rill is depressing, isn't it, Jed? It's depressing.
oh yeah, it's like Blackpool after an apocalypse.
Yeah, have you seen?
Remember, these people are going to be listening to this.
I don't think they would
Oh,
disagree.
no offense to Will.
I don't think they would disagree. It's a bit like Fallout. If like
Runcorn throwing some pretty big stones there.
no, but honestly though, if you come out of Runcorn Station now, right, there's this beautiful kind of plateau, which is all nice. It's got trees and it looks very nice. Everything's green. And if you sort of go one way, you go into the town, lots of businesses open. If you go the other way, you've got like a cool kind of bar and like you got your transport links. In Rill, you get off the train and the first thing you see is like when there's just a sign but there's letters hanging off it at an angle and no one's fixed them. That's the first thing you see. There's a really nice pub called the Bee Hotel, which is closed, and that looks nice, but it's closed. And then there's like everything's closed. This was a Saturday, by the way. Saturday, like lunchtime. Everything's shuttered up, closed. I'm sure it's a nice place to live if you like being in an episode of Fallout.
If you make a living selling rock.
Yeah, I think it's cool that people have made an effort to put stuff on, and I think it is one of those places like Runcorn. By the way, I'm being silly because Runcorn's exactly one of those places where it's like there's not much going on, and people are like, yeah, Runcorn, it's horrible. But actually, when you go there, loads of people are trying really hard to do stuff and put on film festivals and do cultural things. And I know there's like open mics and stuff that happen there a lot, and everyone's trying their to sort of like make it good there. And so I don't want to be mean, but it's just they need to do something with the optics when you come out of the station because it just looks like everywhere's shut and horrible. But it was at the town hall, which is a nice building, wasn't it?
Yeah, we walked up to it and we were like, do you reckon this is the place? And it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of people stood outside in like horror costumes. And we were like, that has to be the place.
Yeah.
But I don't even need to look at the map.
Although, if I'm honest, by the time I'd got to that point, I was like, oh, they're just locals. They're just people. I'm not really sure. Like, I actually hate it when people in costumes and masks like that. These things like at farm. We have one round here called Farmageddon, which is like a farm with like a haunted house, and people dress up as like killer clowns and all like zombies and stuff, and come after you. I cannot go to those places because my sort of like fight or flight trigger is too broken. as Lewis will tell you. Because if someone surprises me, I'm like, die! Like I don't get scared. I get killy. I get murdery. I'll kill you! Like I get like that. I think just after Lewis had moved in, he thought it was like he was coming down and he was like, and I was like, That's how I get. So I can't go to those places. And there was this people following me with masks on. And it's a bit like, people don't like clowns. Not just because, I don't think it's because they're creepy. It's because they don't abide by the rules of being like polite society. Like they will spray you with a flower. They will make fun of you. They will they're weird. They've got a painted on smile. And this is exactly the same thing. It's like people with these weird costumes. And this guy was like following me around. And he was like a sort of, he had a ukulele and he was sort of like a weird, I don't know what the fuck he was meant to be, like some sort of hillbilly type murder creature. And he was like following me and I'm playing his little weird ukulele. And I was like, I'm going to swing for this fucker in a minute. I'm not playing. And I was just trying to be polite. And I was like, I only want to be pretend scared. And he went, pretend scared. I was like, mate, I'm going to knock you out in a minute. I'm being nice now. But in a minute, I'm gonna fucking swing for you, and it will. I can't abide it, honestly. So I didn't, and it was funny. It was a bit because they were everywhere. There was like, considering the amount of people there, which was probably, I don't know, maybe 100 people. There was like 10 of these people in costumes. So for every 10 people, there was one of these people in quite a good costume following you about. But what the funny thing is when we were like, they obviously had some sort of green room where they could just go and take their mask off and stuff. And they'd be kind of walking in this weird, creepy way with their arms outstretched, like, oh, I'm going to get you. But then as soon as they saw the green room, they just walk like normal. La, 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 la. I'm going to go and have a quick pace. Yeah, just I'm going to have a coffee now. And it kind of like killed the atmosphere a little bit.
Towards the end, we went downstairs and asked them to pose for a picture, and they were already like halfway out of the mask, and they're just like, "Yeah, all right." Put it back on.
Yeah, at first they're all like, "I'm going to get you," and then it's like, "My name's Alan. I'm knackered. I've been doing this all day. I was promised lunch. It was a sausage roll which wasn't refrigerated, and a bottle of water."
I've not been able to take them scare experiences serious since Saturday Night Live did that David S. Pumpkin sketch with Tom Hanks. Like everything just, I always think that it's going to be any questions. I'm David Pumpkins, man. And he does his own thing.
Any questions?
The films are really good.
Yeah, there was some of them were.
Some of them weren't. Some of them were all right.
I obviously don't want to sit on a podcast and slag off people's efforts to make a film, but some of the sound mixing, oh Jesus fucking Christ! It was so, like every single effect, especially there seemed to be loads of films where an alarm clock went off, and so it would be like the dialogue would be like. Bah, 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 bah. And then it'd be like, bah, 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 bah. Like, fuck you. The sound mixing was absolutely atrocious in a lot of them. You couldn't actually hear the dialogue going on. And it was like, whenever they'd chosen to take the sound off, so it was just like, oh, we don't need sound in this. It would just be like silent, but then when they cut to the next bit, it was like, shh. That kind of jump. I think really people need to respect the office of the sound people who know what they're fucking doing and not just go, we'll just do it. Like, we don't need proper microphones. We'll be all right.
But it's funny now, the mastering in movies is very much, it's like, and you turn it up and then there's a gunshot or an explosion or like, just anything that's not speech, and it blows your head off because it's that loud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shouldn't this all be a little bit more level? You know what I mean?
I don't get it.
I couldn't get through Christopher Nolan's Tenet because the sound mixing was just horrendous. It was just, there's something wrong with it. Just like all the music is just written, the sound effects are ridiculous. But they have a gunfight and it's just making you deaf.
Either that or you can't hear anything anyone says all the way through.
So we went in and there was a film which I think we both thought was a short film, but it was an hour and 20 minutes. And we had that we both had that moment of like, is this what's going on here? Like, it's very long. And it was a documentary basically about superstitions, and it was very well done. But again, yeah, the sound mixing was weird. It went on way too long. It was good. I did think it was really good, but I think they probably could have done it in an hour.
Yeah, it was genuinely good. Some of the animation and it was fantastic. It had like a sort of it had a sort of like folky sort of Monty Python-esque style to the art direction and some of the animation. It was definitely well crafted. It was like obviously cut out of landscapes and like animated sort of cut out pieces that were over the top of it. But I couldn't help laughing though, because the voiceover reminded me of the mock documentaries by like Troy McClure on The Simpsons. Like this man is over here riding a bicycle. Where does he want to go? Does he want to go this way? Or does he want to go that way? Suppose we'll probably find out in the next part of this film.
Exactly like that.
That's literally.
That is genuinely exactly how it was. Yeah, that was spot on. It was. I genuinely think editors and sound people need to be respected more in this industry by people making short films, because like every single one of those films, I could have taken 30% of it off and it would have been better. Every single one that I saw. Do you know what I mean? You just could have cut a bit and gone, you don't need that, and it would have been tighter, better, and just more watchable. I think that there was they also so we watched there was a feature, that was the feature, the superstition one, and then there was a load of short films, some of which we'd seen before because they were at the Dead All Day Festival in October, and also the most recent one. But then they also seemed to just have like these 60-second horror films in there, which were like, so it was a bit like, we were talking the other week about when there's too many production like idents on the front of a film. So a film would start and it's like, oh, okay, it's a girl running through the woods. Oh, she's scared of something. Oh, it's a POV of what's chasing her. Oh no, something's chasing her. And then it just ends. And you're like, oh. And there was loads of them. There was fucking loads of them. So you're like, and then it just like, so then a film would start and you're like, is this a film? Or there was one with like, they were playing a game and it had the titles on it and everything. It was like Game of Fear, and they're playing a game and the dice rolls off the table and there's like this like shriek, this unearthly shriek, and all the lights go off. And then when they pick it up, it has a 6 on it and they're like, oh my God. And you're like, oh, where's this going? And then it just ends. And it's like, I don't think you've got the idea of a 60-second horror film, because you can't just make the first 60 seconds of a horror film and then stop. It's meant to be all encompassing. It's like doing a stand-up routine where you're like, oh, I went to see my mother-in-law the other day. She made me a cup of tea. Yeah, no, that's the end. I'm just doing a taster of stand-up of what it might be like. No, you there's no jokes in it. What you did, it was very much like, is it? And then,
I've said it once and I'll say it again. This reminds me very much of, hey Paul, can you make a lyric video? Yeah.
What the fuck is that? What's he done?
There was a short film as well, which consisted of an obese man whose internet goes out, and then he starves himself so much that he eats his own hand.
I couldn't. So one of the things I quite liked that one. That was one of the films that actually had a narrative and sort of some compelling characters and stuff. But when he was typing on at one point he's typing on a laptop and he's like, someone says, "Can you do this?" And he goes, "Yeah, it'll be $4,000, and I need $2,000 up front." And then you see on the laptop someone's paid him £2,000 and he's got like a big bank balance and stuff. But then they never really resolve what that money was for. You're left to kind of assume it was because then he hacks into a pizza shop website and like orders a pizza. but like he's got $8,000 in the bank. It's all a bit like, mate, your decisions are not making much sense. So he hacks into the pizza website and he's like, basically like, so he gets the pizza for free. And it's like, oh, is that what he does? He's a hacker, and that's why someone's paid him $4,000 or whatever.
Did they pay him to hack into the pizza shop
No,
website?
no, they never resolve that. That's just something he does because he fancies a pizza. They never resolve it. Like, why is he getting money? Like, they don't resolve that. And then suddenly his internet and all his power goes out, and that's. But then also, like, he's not there for that long. It shows. It's like he's got some pizza and he's eating the pizza. But it's almost like it's just like the next day and he eats his hand. It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean,
At one point as well, he has a dream where he like wakes up and there's a fresh pizza at the end of the bed, and then he wakes up and he's just like, oh, no.
yeah. It's like
Just an empty box.
it's kind of like imagine if they made The Descent, but she's only in there for like 35 seconds. It's like, oh my God, I'll never get out of here. And then someone comes along and rescues her. She's like, oh, that was close. I'll be home in time for countdown. It was like, what? Oh, why did you turn to eating your own? Because obviously, the fact is he's massively obese, right? So yeah, he might be hungry, but he's not fucking starving to death because he's huge. It's like, body's gonna eat itself before he like dies. I don't know. I thought it was a very strange, like they obviously had that ending in mind, but they couldn't quite. They didn't show the passage of time enough at all. It just looked like he kind of had ate like 5 massive pizzas, and then about an hour later he was hungry again, so he ate his own hand and died. Yeah, I don't know. I think storytelling is a very important thing to teach our filmmakers so that they don't come across as. Yeah, I liked the spider one. That spider one was good, wasn't it?
There's like a plastic spider in the bath, and he goes to like turn the tap on, and the spider has a go at him. He's like, "What are you doing, mate?" And he goes, "What were you about to do there?" And I was like, "You can talk." And he goes, "Of course I can talk, you racist." He goes, "You racist against spiders?" He goes, "I'm not racist." And he goes, "You were about to kill me then." And he goes, "You're all about committing the genocide, aren't you? You're racist." And I go, "You're racist, homophobe. I haven't seen a single Ukraine flag since I've been here. Crazy solidarity." It just went on like that. Just this guy having a escalating argument with it was called Social Justice Spider as well.
Do they give out an award like The Dead All Day gave out an award for best film?
Yeah, they gave an award to another film which is called Wilderness, where it's a woman like walking through the wilderness, obviously. But just before we move off from that Social Justice Spider, me and Kirsty were like in hysterics because when they were doing a Q&A with some of the short directors, the guy who made Social Justice Spider, they were asking him what was the inspiration around it, and he was like, well, he said you could only come to the Q&A if you made a film, so we just act that together in an afternoon.
Just to get into the Q&A. At least he's honest.
I know, yeah, but there's a bit in it as well where like the spider pushes the guy down the stairs, and it blatantly turns into like a pair of trousers and a jumper that's just stuffed with pillows.
Well, that's in a lot of big movies, so yeah.
It got the biggest reception of the day, that film, as well, I would say, for the fact that he just pulled it out of his ass so he could go to the film festival. There were all these ones that had clearly like taken months to make, and they were just like, "Yay, a plastic spider in a bath! Yeah, some jokes."
Also, to obviously to state the hilarity of it, the film, because the spider was like a dead high pitched, hard to understand voice. You'd done subtitles and just like had them come up on the screen, and the majority of the subtitles were misspelled.
Yeah.
Or just like random capitalized letters. Like you didn't know whether that was intentional or whether it was just
He
done in a hurry.
I think just done it because he calls him Adolf as like a racist joke, but then he spells it Adolf like Adop LH. It's like you couldn't even spell Adolf right. Your own social justice film.
And then it starts like randomly spouting off a bunch of German, which sounds like they just put a bunch of German into a speech translator.
Oh no, that was actually the German national anthem, Jed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We don't have any German listeners, do we?
I don't know what that anthem is.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
We know you
that.
don't. No, but it was good. It was a good day. I enjoyed it. We got some our needful things, which we will put on. I think we'll put them on the website rather than do them today. We'll just put them on the link them on the Facebook and stuff because we saw a load of like traders and stuff that we got things from and we got their cards. But yeah, it was good. It's nice to see people making the effort to do that, and it was funded by the National Lottery and the BFI and stuff. So it's nice that they're putting money into, communities like places like Rill where the opportunities for filmmaking are fucking nothing basically, and for them to have a big film festival that's run all day. I know how difficult it is to run events, and it was just it was great. It was fun. Everyone had a good time. They got Neil Marshall.
Yeah, they were very
it was
very well organised.
Yeah, Neil Marshall's a great scalp to get for something like this, like to show 2 of his films and have a Q&A with him. Like, he's a very well-known director, and how many times, if you're living in Rill, do you get something like that happening in your town? So, it was really well done by all the guys.
When I was looking at Neil Marshall's Wikipedia, he directed like the 3rd episode of Westworld. Like the first 2 episodes are directed by Christopher Nolan's brother, but like the other Nolan, who's the producer on the majority of his films as well, is literally the director for the majority of Westworld, and then like he directed the other, and he directed Centurion as well, which is a fantastic film.
He did The Descent. Speaking of The Descent,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that was one of the films they were showing.
The Descent and Dog Soldiers, and then obviously he's done the 2019 Hellboy. He's done like loads of stuff, and it just like cool that he went there and did that. He did signings and stuff and did a Q&A and so it's quite cool. And he votes for the BFI as well when they do the BAFTAs and stuff. So he's like decent guys to get along. And
he's from Newcastle, so he arguably travelled further than anyone else to get there as well.
Yeah, even us.
Yeah.
That was good.
One of the first shorts that they had as well was probably one of the ones with the best production. It had a fairly famous actor in it. That was the one with the nudist camp that was like possessed with demons.
Oh, I loved that. That was so funny.
I know, it was really good. It was like Free Spirits or something.
Yeah, it had Clive Russell in it. But it was like so it's like a nudist colony, and the local parish council have got a new vicar and they're objecting to it, and it's like there's a supernatural goings on. But it was really funny, and it knew it wasn't taking itself too seriously. It had a great script. It was shot really nice. It was I thought it was really good. It was like 27 minutes long, and it was a good watch. It was funny. Like, I don't know how they cleared the music. That's the only thing that I was like.
I know.
It had Son of a Preacher Man in it. It had Disco Inferno in it, and I was just like, Sunny by Boney M. I was like, how have they cleared that music? That was what was preying on my mind the whole time. That must have cost them a fortune.
One of the things as well in the beginning of the film, when they started showing the films, one of the organisers came out and was like, that is not the last time that you will see full frontal male nudity. Like, a lot of people had to stay downstairs with their kids. Like, just look at the stalls. You can't go and watch the films because he was quite a lot of naked men.
Yeah, there was.
In more than one film.
There was a lot of penises, yeah. And I did wonder, like, because we bumped into, there was a lady on our train as we were going in, and I was like, oh, she had like a shining pattern cardigan on. She had a 28 Days Later bag. I was like, these are going to the horror film festival. And then we bumped into her later, and I'll put her on that. She does like crocheting and art projects around like just bags and paints like trainers and stuff in all horror kind of stuff. But she had a little girl with her who was like, I don't know, she looked about sort of 8 or 7 or 8, and there was quite a few kids there, and I was like, what are they going to do for all of the thing? Because they're all 18s. So surely these are all like they've got penises in, they've got killing, they've got like boobs in. What are the kids gonna do? I thought it was a bit, yeah.
Stay downstairs and stay next to that sweet shop.
Yeah, I just assumed it was an 18+ event, and then as we went in, there's like loads of like young girls as well, like 7 or 8-year-old girls. I was like, oh, all right. At a school did a film, didn't they? Like they'd partnered with a school to do this like sort of campy little film about a school for witches and monsters and stuff, and that was quite cute. I thought it was a nice thing for them to do. Yeah.
They like brought the kids in just for that one bit, and then they were like, "You have to leave now.
Get out
now before there's any stabbings or any nudity."
We're about to screen The Descent, and you won't like it.
When we went to when we were on our way back as well, we were like trying to find somewhere to go for a drink while waiting for the train, and we thought that the pub that we were going to enter into, we were going to walk into, was going to be like the Slaughtered Lamb, and we were going to be like, maybe like shanked up when we went in, but it was unquestionably quirky, and they were playing like disco music, like Kylie Minogue and the Black Eyed Peas. We were like, "Oh, this isn't bad at all."
There's an odd place. Yeah, we had a good day, didn't we? We had fun.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And thanks for the guys at Rilla Thriller for having us. It was a very good event. We'll definitely go again.
Although saying that, we did pay for tickets. They didn't give us. We did pay for the tickets.
I know, yeah.
That sounds like they've given us the tickets and we've gone along. No, we paid in full for everything.
Yeah, we were paying customers.
We always would.
Next time we're going to bring some flyers and so on, just so we get some publicity that perhaps.
Let's make a film. For next time.
Mm.
Yeah, do what the other guy did. Just make some like 20-minute movie in an hour and then submit it just so you can get free tickets to go.
We've already got a protagonist name, which is Alan Murgatroyd. That's going to be. We've already got that. I think we could.
You're going to cash that in on this, are you?
Sure, why not? We'll make a film by next year and we'll submit it, and then we'll get to go. Maybe we'll get to go for free. Who knows? Are we going to do some listener shout outs? Go on, Paul, you go first.
All right, so my listener shout outs, I've got 3. So first of all, my mate Bob, who's been a massive fan of the show since the very start. He suggested a lot of stuff that I use. I'm not going to tell you what it is because, you know. But yeah, always suggesting ideas, giving lots of feedback about it. And yeah, it always gives me really good reviews for movies as well, what to watch and what not to watch. We agree on all of those things as well. So we're going to have, Bob is also a horror enthusiast. We're going to have him on in season 2 when we start to have guests on the show.
Ooh.
And I feel like he's a massive Simpsons fan as well. So I think we're going to get Bob to do a Simpsons Halloween special, I think. But yeah, we're going to have Bob on. Next is my father-in-law, David, who is also a fervent supporter of the show since the beginning. If you remember, he's the one who's got us the Grave Robbers from Outer Space cards that we're going to have to do on a special. Again, lots of movie suggestions, lots of feedback, all very positive, by the way. And then finally, over in Texas, Pete. If Pete messages you and tells you that, oh, yes, it's quite funny, actually, that's gold. That is, your show is 100% to get something like that. You can take that to the bank and cash it. That's all I've got.
That's a 10 out of 10 on the P scale, that.
It is.
Have you got some, Jed?
Yeah, my friend Joel over at is a listener of the podcast and has checked us out, and he also runs a t-shirt company selling horror t-shirts. Yeah. So we've advertised this on our Facebook page, but it's NASTees, that's NASTWS.UK, and he's got an offer on for 10% off on horror t-shirts. If you use the code Dead Reckoning Podcast at checkout, you get 10% off. So he's got all sorts of random Video Nasty, t-shirts, some various things from video games and so on. Well, there's loads of different bits and bobs in his t-shirt store. Some of them are quite niche as well. He's got the logo to rotten.com, which was if you were around on the internet in the end of the 90s, early 2000s, it was just an absolute nightmare scape. Just for other people legs off and car crashes and people being sawed in half and stuff. Just absolute hell. But Joel is a ardent collector of video nasties and sort of unrated, uncerted VHS tapes. So a lot of the stuff that he's got on his t-shirts from there. But it's all really good merchandise, and some of the t-shirts are really hard to get a hold of. But if you use the code Dead Reckoning Podcast at checkout, you get 10% off, and that's nasties.uk.
Nice.
Kirsty, have you got any?
I've got loads. So my friend Neil, it was a friend from the pub, and one of the disconcerting things about Neil listening to the podcast is that I will record it, and then a couple of weeks will go by before it comes out, and I'll walk in the pub and he'll reference something that I've said 2 weeks earlier, and it always just messes with my head. I'm like, what? He's like, you just mentioned this. It's like, oh yeah. So Neil Marston, who is he listens to every single episode. Dave Morton, every single episode he listens to. He drives a lot, and he's always like, I'm going to listen to this on Thursday because I'm going to Stranraer. That's kind of yes, Dave. He plans out his week of when he's going to be able to listen to the podcast. The longer they've got, it's almost like at first he was like, yeah, I'm going to Manchester, I might listen to your podcast. And now it's like, yeah, I'm going to the House at Hebrides. I'll listen to your podcast because I've got to spare 3 hours. So Dave's an OG. Emma Campbell is too complicated to tell you how I know Emma, but it involves a bulldog called Havana. But she listens. She's a runner, so she listens when she runs. Our friend Sylvie, who we all know, she listens.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to give a shout out to Sylvie. My friend Eric Marcus listens. Just a lovely guy who's every single nuts, stupid, ridiculous thing that I do, he's all in on it. Just one of those nice friends. And Lewis gets enough shout outs, to be honest. There's so much Lewis content in a podcast. I feel like it's probably the first podcast where I've not mentioned him by name, to be fair.
He's just in the doorway shaking his head.
Yeah, he's just like, stop talking about me. And then, and finally, I don't feel like I need to shout out Natalie Wells, who's my friend, my London sister, because she kind of, her wedding was part of my week in horror. But she still gets a shout out as well.
Happy wedding.
Happy wedding. That's the exact greeting. Happy wedding.
Good wedding to you.
Wedding. Clap, 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 clap.
Just one thing that I forgot about Rilla Thriller when we were there, though, just to get it out of my head. When we were browsing one of the stalls, a lot of it was horror memorabilia, but then there was just one print that was Tom Selleck in a policeman's uniform.
Yeah,
that's their bread and butter. They've just got to bring it.
But I very loudly went, "Who the fuck is going to buy that?" And then this guy was like, "Can I help you?" I didn't mean
How many can I put you down for?
I didn't mean in terms of it was like shit. I meant it's a horror convention. Why is that even there? There was the Fonz as well, wasn't the Fonz just randomly like?
I had a voice in my head of Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the late great Andre Braugher, just saying to the mind of a criminal, the presence of law enforcement is always terrifying.
Cut, print, that's the end of the episode. Goodbye.
That's it. Well, I think we need to tell our listeners that we will be back for season 2.
That's a threat.
We will be back. And this time, it's personal.
To be fair, this season was quite personal. Good pod, guys.